All right. So the Democrats have to face reality finally. Bernie has been declared the winner of the Nevada caucus, which is absolutely awesome. And, I mean, the really funny part about this is you look at 2016. Because Hillary cheated and did everything she did, and let's be honest, she probably convinced Obama to, tell Joe Biden not to run. And, basically decided it was her turn. It was her time, And at that point, at 2016, with no record to go on with Trump, Biden probably could have done it. Especially at that point in time, the left was on his side. And, they weren't as far radicalized as they are now. Let's be honest. Since that election, since Trump getting in there, since him upsetting the whole apple cart, you've had the far left get farther and farther left. Plus, you have the people that were Bernie bros and so forth from that election that, got in there and really got those ideas in. They got the whole squad in there, and a lot more far left stuff is being acceptable now and considered mainstream. And the media kind of follows along with it and says that it's okay. So, I mean, I think that Bernie would have at minimum been as close as Trump at the time, because he was also talking about, from the left side of the aisle, change and different from, the old guard, the politicians and stuff, trying to act like an outsider. He's an outsider to this day. That's why the Democrats are saying that the Russians are on Bernie's side, which, I mean, literally, if you watch the liberal media right now, you're seeing that they're not only saying that Bernie is getting help from the Russians, they're saying that Trump is getting help from the Russians and he's trying to hide it. They're going with the whole Vladimir Putin's puppet thing again. I mean, wow. You can't... I think I heard Tucker Carlson was talking about this. And he was like, come on, guys, think of a new enemy. Think of somebody. I mean, if it was me, I would say, hey, this is as plausible, and Roswell, Rachel Maddow can use this. It's totally okay with me. To say that since he's the president, Trump was able to get into Area 51 and get alien technology and talk to the aliens and convince them that he would give them Alaska and all the oil in Alaska if he won president again. Go with that, Rachel. It'll work. They'll believe it. I mean, it makes as much sense and is as believable as the Russia conspiracy. Russia. You guys sound like Jan Brady. Knock it off. It's even more sad. I think the best kind of, example of this is, you all know that kid that was a complete dork, and don't worry, I was a dork and really gross and homely for 75% of my high school career. So I might have done something this dumb almost. No, I think I would have been afraid to get caught. But the dork who tells you that he's got a girlfriend, but she lives in Canada or Niagara Falls, or he's got separated parents. So there, of course, he's got a girlfriend, and she lives where his dad lives, or, at his grandma's house, like over near his grandma's house, not, it's not his cousin. And the Russians sound like that. Yeah, my girlfriend and me totally do stuff, but, like, she's in Wyoming, so I've got to wait. Man, I can't wait to get back there and bone her. Because it's like, dude, stop. Everybody knows you're lying. And that's exactly how the Democrats are with Russia. It's so sad. I would say that it's like crying wolf, and it is. You keep crying wolf, if the Russians did something and you came on TV and you told everybody on TV, look, we got proof the Russians did something, they would go, yeah, okay, sure. Why don't you try that alien thing? It sounds more plausible. It's that bad, guys. You sound like morons. I mean, Hillary Clinton called Tulsi Gabbard a Russian asset earlier this year because, Tulsi threatened her existence by saying how corrupt she was and what a warmonger she was. And then Tulsi sued her. This is one of my favorite things. Tulsi Gabbard sues her for saying she's a Russian agent. Brilliant. I saw a float. Somebody had a float in a parade. They've got it on TikTok. And I'm sure other media, but that's all I have time to look at, 15-second clips. Someone made an Epstein didn't kill himself float. That is the height of where we're at in 2020. When the whole world knows this guy was killed. And our politicians and our media are trying to tell us no. So what is my takeaway from the Nevada caucus results? I think that what I'm trying to say here is discuss the fact that the only way the Democrat elite establishment can try to get back in there now is if Bloomberg just bulldozes in a couple of weeks, spends $2 billion, he said he wants to, and comes in and literally has, it's got to be a brokered convention. That's all there is to it at that point. He's literally going to have to come in to the Democratic National Convention and just challenge Bernie, who's going to win the vote. And you are playing with fire. I think it was Tim Pool that I was listening to earlier that was talking about the reason that so many people don't, they bow down to all these, the left-wing nut jobs, the Antifa, the Bernie Bros, the, other protected groups, that are, for some reason, can get away with all kinds of murder. It's because they're afraid those groups will show up and do vandalism and all kinds of other crazy stuff. The average Trump supporters, if you talk junk, are just going to be like, all right, whatever, you're talking junk. But you start talking junk and, messing with people on the far left now, and they send Antifa out there. They send out, thugs to... look at the stories. It kills me so much. I was listening to some Bernie associate last night at like 3 a.m. on Fox News. And, they send out kind of like the C team at 3 a.m. to talk to whoever that is. I don't even know who was interviewing them. I kind of recognize the people on the Trump side. And literally this guy brings up, they're trying to bring up the fact that, there's been some violence. I think that there was a Republican office damaged in one state last week. They spray painted it and vandalized it and all that. There was a story about some people that, ran some 14-year-old boys off the road on their bicycles, and they were yelling at them and filming it for Snapchat because they had Trump flags on their bikes. They were getting arrested. Of course you've got the Steve Scalise. They were kind of talking about that. And this idiot who works for Bernie Sanders gets on there and he goes, well, this guy went in and he shot up a pizza place, and, obviously Trump supporters are violent. And I'm like, dude, is that all you got? In case you don't know what that is, back in, I think it was in 2016, it might have been 2017, it was right around the election, during the whole Pizzagate thing, which is Pizzagate, quick summation, during a lot of the emails that were hacked from John Podesta and other people in the DNC, they had these weird references to going and getting pizza. And a lot of people associate that with going and molesting children. Like, I really am hungry for some pizza. Wow, I'd like some pizza. Hey, you want to come over? We'll have pizza. Means, hey, you want to molest children. I don't know. I've seen proof of some stuff like that. Obviously, we have Epstein. There you go. where a lot of people that are tied to that guy loved the pizza. So, but there was a place called Comet Ping Pong in New York, I believe, and some guy read the emails, saw the speculation, got into the deep, dark crevices of the internet and realized, oh, they've got children in the basement at Comet Ping Pong and they're molesting them. So he shows up with an AK-47 or an AR-15, semi-automatic, I don't know. And he walks right in and he's like, show me the kids, release the kids, you know. He didn't shoot anybody, didn't kill anybody. They detained him without problem. I know he got charged, of course. You show up with guns, saying you're going to kill people, you get thrown in jail. He didn't kill anybody. I don't even think he messed the place up. It happened. I don't know specifically if he was even a Trump supporter. I think he was just, someone who would be farther to the right because he doesn't like child molesters. And that's the best the guy could do. He brings that up. Okay, well, a Bernie Sanders supporter drove his truck to a baseball field full of Republicans and shot them up and almost killed them. If they wouldn't have had Secret Service people there to shoot him dead. Steve Scalise went in intensive care, almost died. He's still doing fine. Now, he's back. Great. That guy shot them. He went to a baseball field and shot Republicans. People chased 14-year-old boys. Those are children, people. Off the road. There's that video in the fast food restaurant where a 30-year-old man knocks takes the hat off of some 15-year-old boy. You've got the Nicholas Sandmann case, where not only was he being harassed by black Israelites and this Native American previous member of the military, I'm not going to call him a veteran, and while he's being harassed, he stands there and smiles. And for that crime, all of the left-wing nut jobs on the Twitterati decided to attack him, and the mainstream media decided to attack him, and now he's a millionaire. Because thank God he had the forethought to stand there and smile. I'd have clocked somebody. You get in my face with a drum acting like a maniac, I'd have been like, you need to step back, dude. Those things in life, you see that patience and calm was the best way for him to act, because now that kid's a millionaire. I'm pretty sure, no one's disclosed the exact amount. He sued for $250 million or something insane like that. But, they probably settled for $10 million, $20 million, who knows? Whatever they settled for was in the millions, multi-millions. So, obviously this kid is smart and can take the time to figure out what to do with this money. And if he just makes a couple of decent investments right now, he'll never have to work another day in his life unless he wants to. And hell, with that kind of smoothness in the face of fire, he should run for office. So, the whole point is, when you try to look at who's threatening who, it's absolutely ludicrous to say that the Trump supporters are out there doing all kinds of stuff. I think, without looking at specific stats, we all know that at least 9 times out of 10, when someone is accused of being right-wing and doing something, hateful or racist or any of the other BS terminologies, we find out that they're manufactured hate crimes. I believe Jussie Smollett and his awesome MAGA country, the whole thing was so ridiculous. Everyone looked at it right on the face and just went, I heard Don Jr. on the Jim Norton show talking about just how it was just so ridiculous. And even Jim Norton knew it was ridiculous. Everyone I remember hearing it and going, are you kidding me? This rich actor decided he's going to wander out and dude, it was 2 degrees in Chicago. And at 2 in the morning, he's like, I'm going to go get some low-budget Subway sub. Come on, bruh. Without even, like, seeing the god-awful video of him with that noose around his neck, we were all like, come on, dude. Really? And, and Don Jr. went out there and tweeted right off the bat, kind of like, what? He had, like, no fear of being called names on it because he just knew there was no chance that it was real. And I think that America really, at this point, needs to punish these people. The lying media, the lying actors, the propagandists. The people who just sit there and just lie for their own benefit. It's disgusting. I mean, we need seriously. A hate crime hoax is the same thing as a girl who cries rape for, a guy that she's mad at. And the guy ends up in prison. They asked Smollier, they asked him, they showed him like a picture of the two dudes, but like you couldn't really make them out. And they're like, are these the two dudes? And he's like, yeah, that's the two dudes. That could have been like, could you imagine if there would have been two white dudes out in the snowstorm or whatever in the 2-degree weather, walking down the street wearing some hoodies or whatever it was? They'd have got arrested and he would have let that go. He'd have been like, yep, that is definitely them. And they'd have been like, what the hell are you talking about? And they could have gone to prison. Same thing as a guy who dumps a girl and she gets mad and says that he raped her and he goes to prison. If you're found doing a rape hoax or a hate hoax, you should go to prison. And then that will end it. That will end it right there. When I was listening to testimony from some woman the other day who didn't bring up charges against one of these producer guys, in Hollywood, which kills me. All the Me Too movement is all Hollywood, Democrat, donators, Harvey Weinstein, huge Democrat donator, all these guys. The woman said no one would believe her. They would dismiss it. And one of the reasons, besides the fact, of course, these slime bags are connected, is because there are so many times that women make up stuff. And I'm sure that men do as well. I don't know. I don't know the stats on that. You never hear about it if it happens, but I'm sure it's happened. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there needs to be punishment for crimes. The same thing with all of the people and the entire Russia collusion hoax, James Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Strzok Page, all of the people who did that. That's all treasonous. They should all go to prison. And guess what? The next idiot who thinks that's okay, the next deep state idiot who's connected, doesn't get a free ride and they go to prison. Right now, Michael Avenatti is in the same prison cell that El Chapo was in. And he's bitching and moaning about how the conditions are horrible. Guess what? You don't commit heinous crimes and steal money from your paraplegic clients and bring up fake charges against the president and steal money from the client that you're using to do that. Now, I don't know. Let me specify. I don't know if Stormy actually did something or if she was just violating an NDA, whatever it was. She should have never been out there doing that because, if you are a hooker, which she is, and you take money, which she did, and you sign an NDA, which she did, then you should not try to sue that dude later. Is it right that he screwed around on his wife? No. See, we can make really easy statements like that. Those are just pieces of truth, everybody. But Avenatti out there stole money from her book deal. Stole money from a paraplegic that he got a lawsuit for or a settlement for. And then tried to blackmail Nike because he had so much of this ridiculous, ego. Because the media kept telling him that he was great and he could run for president. And now the moron is sleeping on a cot or a really god-awful bed with like paper sheets in a cold cell. And he deserves it. And the next asshole who thinks they're going to do something, like all the stuff he did, might think about that. If there's consequences for your horrible or illegal actions, if you have to pay for your sins, and you see other people pay for their sins, then guess what? You're a little less likely to be an idiot and go out there and do that kind of stuff. I'm going to wrap it up because I'm getting preachy. But you guys have a great day. And we'll see that Epstein is a Bigfoot video any day now. Thanks for listening.